Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. Let's do another reaction video. I'm trying to put out a couple of videos tonight. I've had a couple of, well not a couple, I've had quite a few people asking me to react to certain different things. So we're going to jump around a little bit. My last video was about science. This one is a little bit about science. It's more about the disparity between men and women and their pay gap. Um, I actually have quite a few views on this one. But this is particularly about in sport. So we're going to have a look at this video. We'll see what my reaction is. I might start off with giving you a bit of a spiel about what I actually believe. Um, I don't think there is a pay disparity in the world at all. I think men get paid appropriately and women get paid appropriately for what they do. If a man and a woman is doing exactly the same job, they should get paid exactly the same. But that's pretty rare. I can't think of any instances where that actually happens. So particularly in sport, now I'm a big advocate for women's sport. I think it's fantastic. I've got two little girls. I'm trying to get my kids to play as much sport as possible, trying to teach them to be competitive and try to teach them to be healthy and to do something other than just use your brain. Sometimes if you learn something different, you'll learn it for the rest of your life. So anyway, well, apparently this is one of the best videos. This was sent to me, this link. I haven't watched it yet, so I'm just having a look at it now. It's got reaction to pay disparity between the NBA and the WNBA. We're just looking at that Chiron. There's a reason why there's a pay disparity between those two things, because I'd say the NBA produces about 10,000 times more money than the WNBA. That would be my first impression just by looking at it. But let's see what the video says.
I'm saying pay these women. That's what I'm saying. She shouldn't go elegant about it. You need to be paid because you command the same respect. The game is just as good.
And then they... All right. Okay. So first thing she said, I totally agree with. I totally agree that women need to be paid properly. Yes. Not what she said secondly. No, it's not the same. It doesn't deserve the same respect if it's not producing. If you make a TV show that's not getting an audience, and you make a TV show that is getting an audience, well, then they don't get paid the same. That's part of life. That's called equality.
Motion! The guy ran at 50 yards. Get him.
My daughter got her first catch of her football career today and she got absolutely smashed. What? Why are you letting your daughter do that? Maybe to teach her a lesson. Jesus Christ, she got fucking hammered.
Get him.
You're lucky he wasn't going hard at her. He could have killed her.
Men always say how women's soccer sucks.
Alright, let's just go back to that. So that's a military thing. Alright, so I have two opinions on this, women in the military. I don't have a problem with women in the military, but I do have a problem with women at the front line because of this reason. For this exact reason, she shouldn't have to be in this situation at all. Now, as a support role, no problems whatsoever. Pilots, no problems at all. Maybe not fighter pilots, because there's a lot of stress involved in that, and I don't think that women's bodies can handle it. Mate, just as support roles in the military, no problems. I don't have any problems with that at all. But you don't want this to be happening on the front line, because I know what men are like. I'm a man, and if it was a trench warfare and a man come up to a woman, well, actually, I do know what men would do. Most men would just look at them and go, you go that way. That's what most men would do, because most men wouldn't want to hurt a woman. Even though that most women think that men are violent and all that sort of stuff, but 98% of men would not ever do that to them, because they're looking at their mother, they're looking at their sister, they're looking at their cousins, children, their nieces, that they don't want to do this. But if they're put in a situation where they have to, you know, that's a whole different world. Now, this particular situation, I wouldn't want to be in that situation, and I'm a man. Now, he's a pretty big dude, and he's a hell of a lot bigger than me. I would never put myself in that situation. Never. Unless I absolutely had to. So, that is really bad. Anyway, leave some comments. Like I said, I think that in the military, women can definitely have a support role. Or we go totally opposite and we take all the men off the front and just let the women go and fight themselves. And then let that turn into the bloodbath.
Men always say how women's soccer sucks. Then come to the field and try it with us.
Men never say that women's soccer sucks. They don't. It's quite the opposite. We like women. I like women's football. I like all type of women's sports, because that's what I like. I like watching women compete against women. But you don't want to be watching women compete against men, because it's not fair. It's simply not fair. And we're going to watch it. I know what's going to happen here. One man versus the whole women team. We just, a couple of years ago, we had the Australian soccer team, women, got beat 7-0 by an under-14s boys team. Professional women got beat by under-14s. They're 13-year-old kids. Beat them 7-0. So what the hell is a professional man going to do? We're going to see. He's going to go through the whole team, and they're not going to be able to stop And then this is not degrading to women at all. It's just that men and women are different. They're built different. That's it. It's that simple. You know, exactly. Like, I've never played soccer in my life. I wouldn't play this guy because he's better than me. Yeah. If you wanted to play golf, well, then that's a whole different world. I'd take him on every single day of the week. But you know, it's just. Men do this all the time. They size up. They size up the person that they're going against. If the person's bigger than you and you know that, you're not going to do anything about it. You just shut your mouth and go home and cry. Right? You don't do this. So this is not just a disparity between men and women. This happens to men against men as well. I don't think he's 60 either. I think that's a bit of a lie. He looks younger than 60.
In the starter's hands. So let's see Asafa Power. He got away as you'd expect. He's going to gobble up the lead early. To Bolt. Riley Day, Usain's on.
United States though. America in front. Jamaica in third or maybe even second place now.
And the back straight from the US team. Fantastic to see her back at this did. It's the Polish quartet. And Melko here running on the second.
And this is what I don't like, is because here we've got, was he Polish? Was he Polish?
Melko here running on the second leg for the Polish quartet.
Alright, so you've got a Polish guy here who I've never heard of, and he looks like a real athlete, and he's representing his country. But in the world of athletics, he'd be a nobody, an absolute nobody. But then if we have a look at all those women behind, they are something in women's athletics. So you've got a nobody man beating the best women in the world. And who wants to see this? I don't want to see this. I want to see women race against women and see who's the best and celebrate them for being the best in the world, not comparing them to something that they just cannot compete with. You know, like I said, this is an absolute nobody runner, and I could tell you that if you went to any college in America, you could get the top 50 guys, the top 50 teenagers in any college in America would be the best woman runner in the world, any distance, any time, anywhere you want. Why would you want to put yourself through this? It's ridiculous. It's taking away what people want.
He's down, and in fourth place is Zoe Clark for Great Britain. So Amelka comes over to the changeover. We'll have two Polish women now on the last two legs.
To be crowned. Svite Ursutic. And it's Michael Cherry storming round that bend trying to close the...
Alright, so he just picked up 5 meters in the 2 steps.
We'll have two Polish women now on the last two legs.
Alright, so she's 50 meters in front.
To be crowned. Svite Ursutic. And it's Michael Cherry.
Alright, so he's already picked up 10 meters. So from here at the start line, she took that, and she was 50 meters in front. So she was here. She's gone this far, and he's gone this far already. So she's in a world of hurt. If she got to go 400 meters, she's going to get beat by 100 meters. This is why it's embarrassing. And then we got another guy there, another guy there, another guy there. I bet you these three also go past her.
Storming round that bend trying to close the gap.
And she's got another one here. So that's 100 meters. 100 meters in 400 meters. I'm going to put some money on this guy too. I think this guy's going to go past her by so fast, not funny. This guy's going to go past her. And there's another two here. So I'm going to go, this guy's also going to beat her.
And look at the speed with which Cherry takes the Polish woman. She's grimacing and she's being reeled in here to get caught here, but can she hang on for a medal? The gold is going to go to Michael Cherry, and the Allyson Felix moves to 12 world titles. Really close on the line.
Don't know. She would ragdoll him.
Alright, so she got caught by all those guys and she had a 50-meter head start. And it must be devastating for her. Instead of racing against women and then she can win and she can feel good about herself, she has to live with that shit for the rest of her life. It's just stupid.
First of all, have you ever seen Floyd Mayweather? He's about this tall, okay? And she would ragdoll him as soon as she put her hands on him.
Under Rousey, who would ragdoll Floyd Mayweather. was destroyed by a 5'7.5", 134-pound woman this weekend. Serena Williams is not beating a single man. There's not a guy in the country in the ATP Top 100 that's not beating Serena soundly.
Well, I'd go further than that. I'd go to top 10,000. I'd go the top 10,000 men in the world would beat Serena Williams easily. The top 10 tennis players, the men, I don't even care if they're professional. We used to have a world champion in Australia called Heather Mackay. She was a squash world champion. She was undefeated for 20 years. Never lost a match against a woman in 20 years. And her husband had a squash court in Queensland. And in the entire time she was the world champion of the world, she had never beaten her husband, who wasn't even a squash player. Not one time. So I think Serena Williams would not beat the top 10,000 men. I could honestly go even further than that. I don't think Serena Williams would beat anyone who was older than 15 at tennis.
Let's start with the elephant in the room.
That's right.
Why was it necessary?
I think you're referring to the fact that I said she'd be about 700 in the world.
Yeah.
Right.
What do you think, Charlie? You're a tennis guy. You like to play tennis. I
do.
see you on the tennis court.
Right.
What do you think that Serena Williams would be ranked if she played in the men's
I have
game?
no idea.
Well, if you had a guess.
Well, she seemed pretty strong to me. I mean,
Very strong. The
but
greatest
700
female player ever.
Okay, we can't. Nobody can prove this. Here's what.
Would you like to apologize?
Well, we can prove it, but the men and the women play together. And did she just say, can you apologize? What the fuck does that mean? What, for telling the truth? Prove it then. Okay, let the men and the women play together, and then they separate their pays accordingly. And there wouldn't be a woman in the top 10,000, like I said. They tried this in golf. All right, now I've been playing golf for a long time, and I was actually a semi-pro when I was younger. And the difference in the level between being a really, really, really good golfer compared to being Phil Mickelson or a Tiger Woods or any of these really great players, is the strength and the way they hit the ball, and everything's a total different game. Total different game, just for men, let alone for a woman to do it. And they've had a couple of people have tried. Laura Davies, who was a really great women's golfer in her time. She won quite a few Opens. Really great. I love watching it. It was the longest hit of a woman's golfer for a long time. And she tried. She missed the cut. And then I think Michelle Wie, who's also a very talented golfer, she couldn't make the cut. It's just, what is the point? What are you trying to prove? You're not proving anything. All you're proving is that there is a difference, and there's no point to it. Now, golf is a very, very, leveling game. You can actually play against men if you're a woman, and you can play against old people, and you can play against people with artificial legs, and you can play against people with one arm, because we have a handicap system. But if you're going to do that, well, then you're automatically assuming that they're not equal. So if you want to have a men and women competing in these things, where do you stop? It's crazy. We don't want that. We want to watch women play sport against women. Gymnastics in the Olympics is one of my favourite things. Yeah, just to watch women do exactly what women should do. The men are better. Do you want to join them together? I don't. I want to watch women do what they do.
No. But
And he's talking about Serena Williams. Serena Williams is by far the best women's tennis player ever. And she is amazing. She's dominated that sport for 20 years now. She's absolutely a champion and deserves every single thing that she's got. And before her, it was Martina Navratilova, and she dominated as well. And before that, it was Chris Evert. And these women deserve to be the best. Margaret Court, or not Margaret Court, Yvonne Goolagong, Yvonne Court. So these women deserve what they get. And why should they have to then go up against the Djokovic? Because the Djokovic will just destroy them.
The offer is this. Why don't you combine, just solve the problem? I'm sure the men would be all for this. The men and women play together. And then we don't have to guess.
Cool. Could be near.
No, John, we don't want that.
Si agita per il rumore appena sentito. Ma servirà ancora una volta uscire.
14.
Alright, so I'm Australian, so sport in Australia is massive. Okay, so I've actually been to the Australian Open. I've seen the men play and I've seen the women play. Both are super, super impressive. Super impressive. But the difference between the men and the women is just twofold. The women hit the ball hard and they hit it strong and all that sort of stuff, but nowhere near the men. Sometimes you can't even see the ball when the men hit it. And you want to put a woman against, what, Federer?
That's good, because it's got the tape. It counts.
He has every right to be.
That's the way to finish it off. Yeah, I'll bet.
Well, this we know for sure.
40-50.
That's the one I'm waiting for.
This guy's about 7 foot tall as well, just to add to it. So he's serving from 7, 20, 30 foot in 15 foot. He's serving from 15 foot and she's lucky to be 5 foot. So again, you're looking at, so these are professional men tennis players. They're serving at you at over 200 kilometers an hour with kick and with spin. That is extremely difficult to return or even put your racket on for anybody. Anybody. Even if you're a really good tennis player. That is extremely difficult. But these women can't even get anywhere near it. And I'm not surprised because I wouldn't either. And I wouldn't put myself in that situation.
All right, why? He's kind of 6'10". Oh.
So he's 6'10". 6'10".
Giving the ball away if you just cross willy-nilly.
30.
You know what? That's just
So that's Serena Williams. She's the best women's tennis player ever. She can't even get anywhere near it.
Second set, it's 3-2. Point C down at this end is a lob. There's that one down the middle. Shouldn't be that way. Oh, come on, John. No, I knew that was coming. It's a fault, though.
Actually, it's funny because Andy Murray, he was been joking about myself and him playing a match. And men's tennis and women's tennis are completely almost two separate sports. I'm like, if I were to play Andy Murray, I would lose 6-0, 6-0 in 5 to 6 minutes, maybe 10 minutes. Completely different sport. The men are a lot faster, and they serve harder, they hit harder. It's just a different game. And I love to play women's tennis, and I don't want to be embarrassed. I would not do the tour. I wouldn't do Billie Jean any justice. So Andy, stop it.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna let you kill me.
All right, so there you go. So you got it from the horse's mouth there. So you've got Serena Williams, the best for the last 20, 30 years, the most amazing, powerful women's tennis player, saying that she knows that she doesn't even want to play number 5 because he'll beat her in 5 minutes. All right. Now, this is not taking away from Serena and her sister Venus as well. They're both super, super talented tennis players. Don't take this away from them. It's crazy because we'll never have another women's tennis player ever again.
The enemy doesn't care gender you are. 21, come out here.
Number 16.
Oh no, we're back to the military. She's gonna get fucking smashed. Anyway, I admire her balls. Good on you, love. Come on. Let's bash him.
16, step forward. Go and glove up.
It's the first. Alright, so just out of that, I just noticed that's exactly who I'd pick too. I'd pick
16,
I'd
step
pick
forward.
The smallest guy too. Out of those 3, well, actually, I'd pick her, but well, hang on, he's still a bit gunned up. See, the problem with men is that all men are dangerous. All of them. And it doesn't matter how small they look, they're still fucking dangerous. But if you're going to have to pick out of these 3, you wouldn't pick number 14 because he's going to absolutely murder you. Whereas this guy's a bit of a pocket rocket. And looking at this guy's eyes, I wouldn't pick him either. So I would pick her. That's who, the chubby one over here. That's who I'd be. The one who pretends that she's part of the military. But I wouldn't pick any of these men. I'd pick her first. I wouldn't pick this dude either. So if I had a choice out of these 4 men, she's picked the right one. This guy looks like he'll kill you. This guy's going to overpower you. This guy looks like he's smarter than you. And this guy is going to be a real challenge. And I wouldn't want to fight him either. So she's going to get her head bashed in.
Go and glove up.
Is the first female recruit to pick up.
And if you look at that as well, he doesn't want to do it.
Step forward.
Look at his face.
Go and glove.
He's sitting there saying to himself, I've been taught my entire life not to hit women, and now I'm being taught to hit a woman. He doesn't even want to do this. So this guy's going to come out at about 30% of what he's capable of. But this guy looks like he's got a bit of get up and go about him. And if it was the real 100%, if he was fighting a man, there'd be a whole different look on his face. You can tell the way that he's looking. He's looking down at the ground. He don't want to do this. If that was a man fighting another man, he'd be walking out there looking at the other guy in the eyes. Because that's what you've got to do. He doesn't even want to do this. So Christ knows what would happen if he wanted to.
Glove up.
Is the first female recruit to pick a man. Number 16, Nathaniel.
Brace up. Fight!
DS's instructions and fights to win.
So he wasn't even trying, and he was just fucking around with her.
That's what you do, you fight.
Race up. Fight! Go, keep fighting until I say stop.
So he wasn't even trying then. That was 30% effort. He wasn't even doing anything. He wasn't even, you can tell by the look in his face. He just trying not to make it look stupid.
No, he already did once. But this one's been going a long time. We're 2:30 in now.
He could beat both of us at the same time.
I did already. He got him in 43 seconds. Laura's trying to look at her face. She was trying to kill this dude. There's a Kimura.
Alright, so again, this guy's not even trying. He's having a laugh. He's just happy that he's got two women jumping on top of him. But she's not. She's actually trying. And he's not even bothering at the moment. If this guy went crazy, you could have 20 women. He looks like a big dude. He's just playing at the moment.
Ooh, let Laura have the neck. No injuries.
So then he could have really hurt her then, but he didn't. He actually, instead of throwing her on the ground, he actually placed her. If you go back and watch that, he did that in slow motion. So he's not trying to hurt them at all. He's just
no injuries.
So he could have really hurt both of them right there. They got both their heads right next to each other. She's sitting on his back, being an idiot. She's not even doing anything. He could have really rammed his head, her head, everyone's head, and them all into the ground. And both of those women would be either have a broken neck, or both of them be knocked out either way. He's not even trying. If you think about you're on a raging bull, imagine you've got your arms around the neck of a raging bull as it's running through the streets of Madrid. Do you have any control? No. The bull does, and it's just waiting to flick you off. This is exactly what he's doing.
Easy.
I hope they've taught you how to knock down doors. In you go.
Okay, so here we got a 34-year-old firefighter, so she should be at least have some kind of skills. She doesn't look in great condition to me, but anyway, that doesn't matter. Every firefighter I know is always ripped. So how the hell is she a firefighter looking like that? But anyway.
Oh no! This is tough.
As high as you can. As high as you can. As high as you can.
Take a bigger run up. She's a hard lady.
No, she's not hard. She's not hard.
Come on, Jane. Under the elbow. Big run as fast as you can. And high. High.
So close.
As fast as you can. Well done.
Yeah. Oh. Come out. That's such great effort. Yeah, I think just 2 more throws and you would have been.
She's a firefighter. She wasn't even trying. Why was she not trying? Of all people that should be sticking up for that, she should be throwing her body Anyway, I could walk down and get an 80-year-old guy to do that. I could go down on the street right now, get an 80-year-old man. He'll run through that.
That's tough for you.
A man with no firefighter training has no trouble with the same task.
Bit of an ouchie one, I think. Be aiming higher. That's it. You got it. It's on the floor. Okay, brilliant.
And did you hear? She said, "Oh, you needed to be aiming higher." He didn't. He went straight through the middle of it. He didn't care because he knows that he doesn't have to worry about that.
Got the key, come out. Yeah, fab. Brilliant. Well done.
A woman can actually fail the physical component of the fireman test and still become a firewoman to meet female quotas. Firewomen are paid exactly the same as firemen, who are more physically able and better suited to the job.
I made this video to demonstrate that.
Alright, so well done, guy. Thank you for making the video. Alright, so again, we're back to a simple thing. There's a biological difference between men and women. If you don't believe it, then well, you live in a fantasy world. Alright, women are special for their own reasons, men are special for their own reasons. That's the way it should be. And then anyone who turns around and says that men get paid more than women don't understand what men do. Alright, they do all the shit jobs, they clean the sewers and they make all the buildings and they die all the time, and they go to the military and they die all the time. If you don't understand that, and if you don't understand that men deserve an extra couple of dollars an hour for doing more work in less time, well then you don't understand reality. So this proves it. Don't do this to our sport. We love watching women's sport. We love watching women's soccer when they're playing women. We love watching women achieve the heightness of immortality in sport. We love it. We want to see the best of the best of the best. Don't destroy that. Anyway, that's my own opinion. If you disagree, I'd love to hear from you. And also, if you do agree, I'd love to hear from you as well. Like and subscribe, and we'll catch you in another one. See you then.